Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Eman. And let's take a look at your situation. So you know Mr. Yijit. Now remember, when you join my course, Mr. Yijit, he does have what's called an affiliate link. If possible, use his link to join, and that way I know to give him a commission. But I want to answer your questions right now. So you said you graduated from the language and translation faculty. You probably want to say facility there. You say we didn't get them. I need your answer. You say, what about authorized certificate? Does your course include a certificate or just learning? My course does not include a certificate. It's just learning the information. I will give you practice with your vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. These are what I call the supporting skills for the TOEFL exam. And you also have practice with reading, listening, writing, and speaking areas. Okay, the time. I would recommend, if you're working and studying and you're really busy, it's probably not your best time to study the TOEFL. Here's what I recommend. I got 3 recommendations for you right now. Number 1, you want to practice reading for about 1 hour every day. You can read magazines, newspapers, and longer books. Number 2, you can practice about the same amount of time each day with listening materials, paying particular attention to news, science, history, and documentary programs. So if you do those things for 2 hours every day, probably for, I'm going to recommend maybe 3 months, that's already giving you some very good exposure to the language. The third thing, I recommend my 90-day TOEFL study guide. And that will give you access to my online course, and I will have specific lessons each day that will help you improve in the 7 different areas of my course, specifically vocabulary, pronunciation and grammar, listening, reading, writing, and speaking areas. So you're looking probably right now at about 4 hours a day, 1 hour reading practice, 1 hour listening practice, and then 2 hours at my online TOEFL course. So I hope that answers that question. Okay, now your last question here is how do you arrange the time, right? So you say you want to finish it within a month. I don't know if you can do that. I have a 30-day TOEFL study guide, don't get me wrong, but you probably need a little more practice than that. So you say, the way that we can take it by Skype? No, I don't use Skype. The way that my program works is you don't have to talk to me directly. All of my videos, all my lessons, PDF files, videos, they're all posted at my online TOEFL course. Once you make your payment, I will create a username and a password, and then you will have unlimited access to all 630 of my lessons. Right? So what you'll do is, when you do a pronunciation practice test, you're going to post it online. I have a site called my VoxyPop discussion group. That's where you post your pronunciation, your independent and integrated speaking practice test, right? So you're going to post them one day, and then the next day I will listen to them, I will give you some audio comments, and I will post my comments in exactly the same discussion thread where you left yours. So you'll get my comments the next day. Now with your writing, your independent and integrated writing practice test, you will post those, Eman, directly at my website. And then the same thing, in about 24 hours, either I or one of my teaching assistants will read and score your independent and your integrated speaking practice test. So that's kind of how it works. So it's a combination, Eman, of you going through my course, completing my lessons, and then in the case of the pronunciation, speaking, and writing practice test, you'll complete them online. I will give you some comments, either by video, by audio, or written comments. You'll read those. You'll study some recommended lessons. You'll go back to my course, learn a little bit more, and then you'll repost more practice tests. So it's kind of like a circle. And little by little, you will begin to improve your academic English language proficiency. So how much improvement can you expect? Now, I can't say for sure. It all depends on how much you study, how much you use my course, whether or not you're following my first two suggestions of reading and listening. You're probably looking at about 5 to 10 points of improvement in your overall TOEFL score for each month that you use my course. So, let's say your TOEFL score right now is 80. And you want to get 90, you're probably looking at 30 to 60 days for you to move from 80 to 90 with your TOEFL score. That's actually pretty good progress, believe it or not. Okay, Eman? So anyway, I hope I've answered your questions in this video, and remember that I will include a link to the 90-day TOEFL study guide. I will include that link in this particular YouTube video in the description box. Then you can check it out for yourself, okay? And thank you for your interest, and all the best to your high-scoring TOEFL success.